Hi, it's Mr. Hem here again. So in this video, I'd like to walk you through how to use the MCI audio in Windows through Python. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be importing the library ctypes. That's the library that will interface into the Windows API. And the API I'm specifically trying to access is the mciSendString. So this particular method allows us to send string commands to the multimedia devices on Windows for it to play sounds and music for us. And the string commands that I'm going to be using for our game framework is open, play, and close. So to load it up, play the sound, and then close the sound. So let's get started with that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to import ctypes. Import ctypes. So that's kind of the main thing we want. That's what is going to allow us to access our mciSendString command, or rather API. So then what I'll do is I'll write mciSendString is the function that I want, and it's in ctypes. It's in sorry, not ctypes. It's in windll. This is where it's at, and it's in the Win multimedia library. And the actual function that we want, the name of it is actually this sendString W. Now there's a few other versions, but I found that the W version is the one that I want that works. All right, so this is the actual thing from the DLL file, and this is what we're calling our function, our kind of pointer to it. We can call this whatever we want, but you know, why not call it something that makes sense to us. So that's it. We've got something that will now interface with our multimedia devices on Windows. So we just need to learn how to send strings to it. So what we could do is we could create a function that will play sounds for us. Right? So we can create a function that will kind of handle playing the sounds and the music for us. So I'll go into here and I'll write define play sound, and let's give it a file name. So we give it a file name for it to play, and now I'll show you how to use the mciSendString. All right. So at the raw crux of it, really what you're doing is you're sending command lines. So you might be sending this string. You go open. I'll just give you an idea of what you're sending to you go open, and then you give it a file name, say test.wave, and then you can tell it like a type, like what type of audio type is it. Now I always use MPEG video now because it seems to work for every file type, and then you can give it an alias. Alias is like a name you give to your WAV file. So let's call it test, or test. So this is the actual WAV file name. This is a name referencing it, and you can give this is alias anything. You can call the alias anything you want, right? But I'll just call it test. And the key is you need to put these in quotation like so. And because we need to put this in quotation, it stuffs it up. Really, we should be using single quotes since it's allowed in Python. And really, every other, I should put single quotes here just to differentiate. So it's kind of convenient that we've got two types of quotes we could use. So I'll use the single quotes for the actual command line and the double quotes for what the MCI needs. So MCI actually needs these in double quotes, else it won't work. All right, so that's pretty much what we want to send to it. So I could go command like that, and that's pretty much really it. That's really all I need. I can now go MCI send string command, and that should open up our command. Now it won't play it; it'll open it, and we need to actually play it. So I'll do another command, and let's do a command that plays. And since I've given this particular file name an alias, I can just play test. I can just play test. And you can actually set it from like 0, meaning from the start. And you can also repeat it if you like. You can write repeat at the end there. But I'll just do that for now. And that's it. That will play the sound. Now it doesn't need any file names right now because we're not using it. So what I'll do is I'll just delete that for now and just let's test this out. Let's test it out. So play sound. Let's shove it into a click. So when I click here, over here, where I did my wind sound in the latter video, instead of using wind sound this time, I'm going to play sound, and that's pretty much what I want to do. Oh yeah, sorry. This also takes in a few more arguments. There's another 3 more. We'll put zeros in there for now because we don't need to right now. I don't need to explain what these are, but we're just chucking 0 right now. At some point, I do want to use them, and I'll tell you what they are. And we just need to. I just forgot to put the send string. Got to send the string again. So I send the string to open, then I send the string to play. Command 000. All right, that should be good there. Let's try that. Yeah, so it works fine there. So it's all good there. So if you do it like this, we've got one alias, meaning there's only one sound device. You can't play in parallel. If you want to play things in parallel, you've got to have different aliases. So you can have the same kind of file you're loading in, but you've got to have different aliases. So that's something that we need to handle. And what we can do is we can kind of just randomly generate some random names so that it can play sounds in parallel. And also we want to take in other files, not just test wave, right? So we'll put file name back in here, and in here we want to kind of add file name there. And we want to put a single quote here and here so that now it takes in the file name we want instead. So in here I have to actually put in test.wave now so for it to work. Another thing I should do is if I want to play sounds in parallel, I should generate a random name. So I need to, do I have a random number? Yes, I got random. So I'll just generate a random name. So I'll just go name. I can go, yeah, I go name, and I'll go random dot. What can we use? We'll just use random, and then that's it. We'll just convert that to a string, and it'll just be a random names, random bunch of numbers for this name, and then we'll replace this with the actual name. Here, and over here we'll replace this with the actual name. And be careful, don't lose the spaces here or here, because we are sending a string, and make sure you got those quotes there. Alright, so that should spawn different sounds of different names, and that should now play sounds in parallel. We'll try that. So that works perfectly. But right now, if I click it 100 times, it's going to generate 100 names and take up RAM. So in some ways, we've got to close these when they're finished playing. So we need to handle that, else we're going to run out of memory and our game's going to crash. All right. So let's have a look at our time. And that will take a little bit more it might take a bit more time than normal, because the way I'm thinking about doing it is I want to kind of figure out how long you can access how long our game's going to be, our sound's going to be, and then kind of wait for it to finish and then close it. So put a timer on, spawn a timer for it to wait for your sound to finish and then close it off. So that's kind of what how I want to deal with it. All right, but I'll probably do that in the next video, so I'll see you there.